this, and you fold this corner towards you and the other two corners on the outside towards the
Look,
middle.
I can manage on my own.
Yeah, but the book says.
Look, I don't care what the book says. I'm telling you, Doreen, if you don't shut up about your stupid book, you'll be wearing it like a nappy.
Oh, come on, Jane. Doreen's only trying to help.
Well, I don't need her help. All right, Doreen, fair enough.
Yeah, but I just thought that, you know.
Look, I can manage on my own.
Okay, I'll finish the beds.
Look, you're going to have to learn to mind your own business, Doreen. They're our kids. We've got to learn to bring them up our own way.
Here, here.
Would you check whether Julie's finished typing my letters, please?
Of course. Is there anything else?
No, that's all, thank you. Oh, good morning, Doreen.
Hello, Mrs. Davidson.
I was just coming to see you.
Oh, yeah?
I was wondering how you're getting along.
Huh?
How you're settling into the maternity wing.
Oh, terrific.
Good.
Yeah, we're getting on like a house on fire, you know, me and the others. It's a real buzz being able to help with the kids and everything.
I'm delighted to hear it.
Yeah, there's no worries there, Mrs. Davidson. It's the best thing that happened to me in ages.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah, too right. You know, those books that I got off Mrs. Jackson, well, they've been a real help. You know, it's amazing how much people don't know. How is Mrs. Jackson? Have you heard?
Oh, she's coming along fine. She'll be pleased to know you've been asking after her.
Oh, good.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're settling in so well. Carry on.
Look at this bloody thing, will you?
Give it a good kick. That's what B usually does.
Yeah, only I'd be careful it doesn't kick you back. It's twice your size, you know that? Hey, Liz, did you have a word with B yet? Well, what'd she say?
She reckons I ought to appeal.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I probably will. Only I don't want it to come out about Linda, though.
But you're not appealing against the verdict. I mean, you already put in a plea of guilty, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's already over and done with now. What you are appealing against is the severity of the sentence.
Better have a talk with Dave, though.
It's a good idea.
Oh, good morning, sir. Oh, Mr. Fletcher, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. I just popped in to see Sarah. Is she about?
I'm afraid she's not at the moment.
Well, do you have any idea where she might be?
I could give you an address where you might find her, but I doubt she'd appreciate it. She's visiting a prospective client.
Yes, well, I sort of gathered that. Do you know what time that she'll be back?
No. Later, sometime.
Thanks heaps for all your help.
Mr. Fletcher, Sarah tells me you're interested in putting some money into the business.
I might.
Your funeral.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, the business isn't exactly financially stable.
So?
It could be a bit of a risk, a bit dicey.
So it's crossing the street. It's a risk I'm prepared to take. At the moment, the money's just sitting in a bank doing nothing.
That's the best place for it.
Yeah, well, I'll be the judge of that after I talk to Sarah.
Mr. Fletcher, may I point out that Sarah and I have been business partners for a number of years.
Oh, yes, I know.
Partners. The point I'm trying to get at is that I have as much right to make decisions of this nature as she does.
Well, good for you. But I'll discuss the matter with Sarah when she gets back.
Oh, I'm bearing up, Mrs. Davidson. Of course, it was a bit of a shock at first.
Yes.
I thought the old ticket was going to give up the ghost for good for a second.
Are you sure you don't need any medication?
No. I'm as right as rain now. What I was wondering was if you could ask my solicitor to come down here and see me, Mrs. Davidson.
Of course. Are you planning an appeal?
I thought it was a good idea. What do you reckon?
I think it's a very good idea. Frankly, Lizzie, I was probably more amazed than you were. It seems to me the sentence was rather harsh.
Do you reckon I'd have a chance?
Honestly, I don't know. Mr. Bourne would have a better idea than I have. I'll arrange for him to visit you as soon as he's able.
Thank you, Mrs. Davidson.
Was that all?
Yeah, Ta.
Fine. You can take Lizzie back to the laundry now, and I'll see Chrissy Latham.
All right, Mrs. Davidson. Oh, good day, Lizzie. How are you going?
Not bad. How's Elizabeth?
Oh, she's
Come
beautiful.
in, Latham.
Sit down, Chrissy.
Ta.
What was it you wanted to see me about?
Well, I've got a bit of a complaint.
I think I can guess what it is.
Oh, it's Doreen, Mrs. Davidson. She's driving us mental. She keeps reading to us out of all them stupid books, trying to show us how we're doing everything wrong and stuff.
I can understand how irritating that must be.
You've got no idea. We can't do nothing right as far as she's concerned.
You do realise she only has a week to go.
Yeah.
You don't think you could cope with that short time?
Well, it's not me so much, but she's really getting on Jane's nerves.
Well, I'll talk to her about it. No mother likes to think she's doing the wrong thing by her children. But you are aware she's had rather a rough time recently.
Oh, yeah. And I know she's only trying to be helpful.
Well, I'll see what I can do. But I do want her to stay there. She's very happy to be with the children.
Oh, yeah, she's beside herself. And I'm not trying to get her into trouble or nothing.
No, of course not. But if you could just be a little patient with her. Yeah. I'm sure it will help when she gets out.
But will you talk to her?
Yes, of course.
Oh, thanks, Mrs. Davidson.
This part of the day I enjoy.
Yes.
Oh, no, don't say we're out of tea bags.
Oh, I think there's some more in that cupboard over there. I was wondering, I've got something important on tonight. Would you mind swapping shifts?
Swap? No, I'd rather not. But I wouldn't mind taking over your shift, you know, do a double. I could use the overtime.
Well, that suits me. It would mean I wouldn't have to come back here.
Do you want more coffee?
No, thanks. But thanks for the shift.
Well, how are you feeling?
Not too bad at all.
Better than you do, judging by the look of you.
Yeah, I'm a bit whacked. I'm on late shift again tonight, too.
Well, what are you doing wasting your free time on me? Want a cup of coffee?
Yeah, I'd love one. Thanks, Mick. Well, actually, I've got a bit of spare time. I'm waiting to see somebody. Well, no offence, of course.
Of course not.
Yeah, I wanted to see her before I went to work.
Her? Well, well.
Oh, it's business. Well, not entirely business. She's an interior designer. It seems like a pretty good little business, and I'm thinking of investing some money in it, going in as a partner.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, she's pretty keen on the idea, but her business partner's trying to scare me off, telling me what a risk it is, and then I'll do my dough.
Well, he'd be in a position to know. Perhaps he's giving you the right advice.
Well, I'd sooner take my advice from Sarah.
Maybe he's jealous.
What of?
Of you and Sarah.
Oh, no, his interest in Sarah is entirely business.
Well, in that case, I've just run out of advice. I wish you luck whatever you decide, between you and Sarah as well.
Thanks. Well, I'm glad to see you're looking so spry again.
Well, I'm being very well looked after.
Really?
Well, didn't you know? Vera came round last night and cooked me dinner, and she's coming again tonight.
You're kidding.
Oh, I think she enjoys having something to do, or someone to care for. Now, there's someone who could do with an outside interest, romantic or otherwise.
Well, don't look at me. I've given up on her.
Oh, she's very lonely, Jim.
Yeah, well, that may be, but I've had it up to here with Vera.
Burns is here to see you, Mrs. Davidson.
Come in. Sit down, Doreen. That will be all, thank you, Miss Bennett. There are a couple of things I want to talk to you about, Doreen. Firstly, some of the mothers in the maternity wing...
Yeah, they're getting a bit cranky, aren't they?
Well, yes, they are, rather.
Well, I suppose I would myself.
Well, they don't like to think they're in the wrong. I'm sure they don't mind a little tactful advice.
Yeah, but I get a bit carried away.
And I'm sure they appreciate your looking after the children, giving them some time to themselves. But if you could use just a little more discretion when you're offering advice.
Yeah, I'll try, Mrs. Davidson.
Good. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was your release, finding a job.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about that ever since you mentioned it. And do you know what I reckon would be real good?
What?
Working at a hospital. Oh, not as a nurse, because I know I haven't got any training, but as a nurse's aide. Then I could see the kids sometimes in the children's wards, and I could be real useful for a change.
That's an excellent idea. I think you'd be rather good at it. I'll see what I can do.
Oh, thanks, Mrs. Davidson. You're a real bottler.
Miss Bennett will see you back to the maternity wing.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm sorry I missed you earlier.
Yes, I am too. Where's your mate?
Julian? Out.
Good.
Now, you mustn't take offence at Julian.
You know, he tried to talk me out of investing in the business.
Yes, he told me.
So what's the story?
Well, it's nothing personal, Jim. It's just that we haven't known you for very long. He's a bit worried, that's all.
Well, I haven't known him for very long either.
no, of course. Oh, don't worry, he'll come round in time. These things always take time. Besides, he doesn't have the same interest in you that I have.
Well, I hope not.